Hi everyone. In this first part of my interview with Veronica Bartolini of Codebreaker Real Talk, we talk about the method to release negative energies. We also discuss as a super soldier waking up with scratches and bruises. When we went to sleep, we had none. We also talk about the Pharaoh Queen Hatshepsut and her daughter. And lastly, Veronica reveals when she first saw me in a vision in 2017, and another time we met, which involves some healing. I hope you enjoy this first part, and I look forward to bringing you part two. Thank you.
Hola everyone, it's Veronica Bartolini with Codebreaker Real Talk, and I'm super happy today because I have my sister in arms. I have my oracle, my dear friend, my sister Iris Jackson. Finally, Power Lady. How's it going today?
Everything is great, wonderful, no complaints.
Yay. So far, right?
Yes.
Let me pause this. No, I'm just kidding.
I must admit, so far.
So far. Yeah, yesterday I was letting you know that I was just brewing up some stuff. It's like I just got a brand new GSD German Shepherd. I found Lola in the desert. Everybody knows the story on Instagram and on YouTube. So and I was just like, what am I gonna do? I'm having surgery Friday. There was 10 puppies, that I had total, and two more need a home. And I'm like, the cats. What am I gonna do? Lola is waking me up every hour and a half. We in this field of police work and military, we suffer from PTSD, and so I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't want to take her to the PAA, the Pima Animal Control Center. So I just let out a scream, a really, really huge, loud scream, and then I called you. And you were telling me that it's actually therapy. And usually, it's funny because throughout my whole life, I'll scream, whether it'll be in the vehicle. I tried not to scream around my kids too much, because I didn't want to startle them. And so I'll find my vehicle or my pillow or the closet or somewhere out when in the desert where where I would go climbing. So you told me about something very interesting yesterday, and I'd like to hear about it. That way, again, that way our friends here can see that
When
it's
it comes to the screaming, I used to work uh, for the police department. That's where I'm retired from. And there was an officer. After she'd come to work, she'd get everything, all her module taken care of, get everything organized, find out where she was, and then she'd go out onto the rec yard and she would scream. And I didn't know this till one day I was in I think I was a rec yard officer. I was in another part and I could actually hear it because you can hear them from the street. And I said, is someone screaming? And then one of the inmates mentioned to me, said, no, that's Officer so and so. I go, what do you mean? They knew, I didn't, which is sometimes a lot of the cases. And they said, oh, yeah, she goes out and screams. So, of course, I had to find out more. So I did see her and I talked to her. I said, what do you do when you're screaming on the rec yard? She's like, oh, I'd love to tell you. She was excited. She said, I use that method to release a lot of anger, pain, anything that's built up into me, I get rid of it. And she said, I go out on the rec yard, especially if I had a bad couple days. And she said, I just release it. And she said, I feel so much better after I do it. And I got to thinking about that, and it reminds me of like the warrior cry when warriors are going into battle, to get hyped up, to get ready for it, But she's using it just the opposite. She's using that cry to release all that energy. And apparently it works for her. I've seen my children do it when they were younger. sometimes it's just so pent up. They just go, ah, and finally I go, are you okay? Yes, mom, I'm fine. And I'm like, okay. I've never done it, but I would have to say it would be truly something to maybe give a try.
Mm.
And I would say, okay, okay, that's what you needed to do, and that's fine. So obviously it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I find it with me since I was a child, and I see the same thing with children is they get super excited. I would get super excited. Ah, I just had to scream, and my mom's like, "Why are you always screaming? Why?" And then she'd call me La Llorona because I'd cry because
Mhm.
I didn't know these emotions when you first come in as a star seed. Because most of us here, I believe, I know that we come as shooting stars to help, this whole whatever we're doing right now. So, and the emotions, they're just so much that you just gotta scream. Um, One thing that I don't know if it happened to you or what, but you get on your uniform because you're getting ready for battle. You're getting ready for war. I was a beat officer for STPD here, South
Mhm.
Tucson. And you get all revved up. You're like, okay, you don't know what's going to happen. You know that you got to come home because that's what you're trained to do is come home. No matter what happens, you come home to your family. And some days the emotion would be like so much, not that how do you say, not worry. Some days they were, but other days for me was really excited and I just wanted to scream. And my daughter, I would take her to school or whatever before my shift. And it's like, oh, are you okay? She was so little. I go, yeah. She goes, are you sure? Because I was really excited. Now she's older. She's 20 now. She and my son will understand what goes on with me. Um, it's just the emotions. They're mm, I kind of scare some people, because it's I don't know. It just happens that my emotions run so much that I can't verbalize them. So
Mhm.
I exuberate them in like the light or you know
Well, what I can say is that
happiness,
what I can say
excitement.
is when you're in let's say law enforcement, um, emotion is a good thing to have when you're dealing with someone who needs help or something like that. But when you have to when you have to work in an environment, is if you don't know if someone can come up behind you, if they recognize you or as someone you arrested before, or things like that. So when you're in that uniform, people have said you have a target on your back. You have to be aware of your surroundings, what's going on. And sometimes that does not sometimes, it could really play on you because when you're in civilian clothes, you're sitting in a restaurant, you don't want your back to the door. You're
That's
watching the
funny you
people.
yeah, funny you
Yeah.
brought that up because like if my mom and I go to a restaurant, she goes, "Te vas a sentar ahí?" She already knows I'm getting the door.
Hmm.
My kids
Yeah.
know unless it's my son, I'm getting the door.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
we're
And
always
and
hyper vigilant, always. It never ends,
yeah.
right? I think
Yeah.
that's where the PTSD comes from.
Yeah, and I what I do now instead of always saying I have to have my back to the door, if I'm having lunch or with someone, I'll say to them, uh, "My back is to the door." That means that if someone comes through that door, you got to protect me, or you gonna have to step up. I will, no problem. I said okay, and that way you don't always feel like you have to be the protector. You can take a break and let somebody else do it. Of course you're going to assist them, you know if it gets there, but hopefully that they're going to see that first and they're going to be right there with you.
Oh yeah, and I was trying to explain to my mother last night because every day she says, "So did you sleep?" And I said, "Maybe an hour, maybe two." Hi, Veronica, you have to start drinking the medication to sleep. I'm like, no. I gave up all that. You know, I'm me now. I'm in control.
Mhm.
It's just that the with the PTSD, if people don't get it, it's I'm right here right now doing the show, and I'm looking. Some of the neighbors, you know, I'm at the gym. I'm looking. All right, who's here? Who's new? Who's what do you?
You're doing a Gladys Kravitz.
What is
Remember
that?
Gladys Kravitz from what is that? Bewitched. She was always looking out the window.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
Doña Florinda in
I
the
just told everyone how old I am, by the way.
in the Mexican channel, you know, Doña Florinda, one with the, you know, the one's always looking in the
Hmm.
Colorado, that one.
Hmm.
But you just never know. I'll be at the grocery store, and it's like always, what if this, what if that, then that. And I was trying to explain to my mother, it's like, Mom, it's scenario after scenario after scenario. It's really hard for me to live in this world, because not only do I have to be careful with my emotions to not show them, you know, that's what they teach us
Hmm.
in the police academy, also in the military, and in the secret space program.
Right.
You have to bottle down your um, feelings,
Hmm.
and you just got to take control. And so when the Hulk comes out in me, or the katana, we just found out there's another altar katana that you helped me with.
Hmm.
Um, you know, just off with their heads. I don't care. I don't care.
Hmm.
You know, I won't take it anymore. And we are trained to take action.
Right.
Okay? We are we are trained to get rid of what is not only going to hurt you, but the other person. You
Right.
know, and we can never, ever, ever. As long as I live, I can never put my guard down, and
Right.
it's really hard. I really, it's hard for people to get it unless you're in these
I would say that here in the 3D, believe it or not, it is much easier to watch your back than it is when you're on missions, you're on different planets, you're in the astral. Just in the astral, the things that have happened to me in the astral uh have never happened to me in the 3D. You know, waking up, I had woke up with the eye that was equivalent to a black eye. It just didn't have the discoloration. I was fine when I went to sleep. I woke up, my eye was swollen, and it felt like someone had hit me. I've woken up with like my thumb. I could not use it. I was like I couldn't hold an ink pen to write with, and it was like that for a few days. It got better, but what I eventually found out is that in an alternate reality, um, my thumb had been severed, and it was very weird because I was fine before I went to sleep, and I woke up and I did not have any function. I could not. My thumb was just hanging there. I could not use it. Towards the end of the day, I was able to like hold an ink pen because I kept. Let me see if I can write now, and I could not do anything. I had to do it left-handed, or I had to use just my index fingers and such. But those things are real. The
yeah.
scratches, waking up with needle marks in the back of my head in places of that, and I never really gave it any thought until probably the past 3 years of my life. I started taking notice of these things, because now I check. I said, okay, all clear. And then I wake up the next morning and I have like a long scratch in my hand, you
Right.
know.
I remember
So,
the day that you told me about your eye. You sent me the picture, the whole
mhm,
thumb thing, and and things like that have happened to me as well. And you know, when you're battling in the astral, like the other day, I woke up with a bruise on my thigh. I'm like, okay, I
mhm,
no, I didn't hurt myself here. Um, and you know, I believe that that's perhaps maybe one of the things that, you know, because a lot of people will say, hey, Vero, how do I know if I'm a super soldier? I'm like, because, you know, they'll do sessions with me and stuff. And I'm like, I'm not going
mhm,
to tell you you're a super soldier unless you have to find out by yourself. I will help you with your memories. I will
Mhm.
help you activate your DNA. Um, and it's really neat because then say a month to 3 months later to a year later, it's like, oh my gosh,
Mhm.
thank you for helping me because you know what? Now I know these are the signs that I got to look for. Like for
Mhm.
example, and we're not saying all, how do they say all in and that there's a word no quiere decir que por esta razón vas a ser super soldado. Okay. So not just because of this reason you're going to be a super soldier, but we're just saying, okay, look
It's
for
different for everyone.
right
Right.
dreams, look for signs. So Iris, I just want to tell the public that about the astral that I had of you in 2017, and I didn't know it was you until about 2 or 3 days ago.
Uh-huh. Okay, well, let's hear it. Let's go. You're gonna be okay?
Yeah. Ah, it's just beautiful when you realize, right, what
Uh-huh.
who the people are in your life because this you think, oh, it's all the movies that you see, time travel and things like that. We're time travelers,
Well, yeah, you don't realize that when you have visions and dreams, or you're in the astral, you see faces and images. Just like the other day when we were talking with Firehorse, and
yes,
I said, "Here's a picture. I've seen you," and it's him. He has the black paint across his eyes, and that's how I drew it. I don't know why I drew it like that, but that's what I saw. And I said, "Hey, this is you. I was supposed to meet you." And he's looking at, sitting there in shock, like, "Yeah, that's me." I go, "Yeah, I saw this a few weeks ago." I did not know it was him until I was sitting there looking at him, and I go, "I've seen him before."
mm-hmm,
So go ahead and continue because it is true. And when it happens, it's like, wow, I know her.
right. And
Yeah.
I saw him. I didn't know back then in May of 2018, or sorry, yeah, 2018. I was coming down this hill. I told everybody about it already, but there was a horse in the top of the mountain. It
Mhm.
wasn't a cloud, it was like a horse, and then on the top it had this fire on the top, and I'm like, what? And then I saw some eagles and things like that, and I'm like,
Mhm.
and then it's him.
It's him. Mhm.
I'm hoping to go to a platform where we were talking in private about next year. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that he'll go also.
Oh, that would be great. It'd be cool. Yeah.
I want all of our friends
Mhm.
to go if
Yeah.
possible because it
That
would
would be great.
one of Celeste was saying, "Hey, why don't we all go?" And then Eve was like, "Let's go." It's like seven sisters. Here we go. I
All
told
you
her,
got to do is
"Oh,
just say it and do it.
let's go. Let's go,
Mhm.
Iris." And
Mhm.
we have to. It's gonna be great. I already have the first paragraph of what I'm going to talk about.
Well, I'm glad you're already working on it. That's
Yeah,
good.
you and others have been my inspiration. So anyway, let me go back to this
To 2017.
to 2017.
Mhm.
I am walking. There's like a deserted place, like it's like a desert here, like in Tucson, it's just desert. I'm walking, doing like a trail run or whatever. I'm in white shirt and pants. And all of a sudden I see two things from the floor up, from the ground up. There's these green, I thought it was green cactus, and they come and they're like this, and then they are eagles, green eagles that look like cactus, but they're not cactus or cacti. They come with me, they
Mhm.
fly with me, and then to my left, I see that there is a distraction. And we all know what that distraction was. Or distractions. I call it the CIA love bites.
Uh-huh.
And so this guy older gentleman was trying to sell me drugs. Hey, come
Mhm.
over here, Juanita. You want to do something? I'm like, nah, 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 nah. I don't
Mhm.
focus on that. So then I go, and all of a sudden there's an earthquake. There's a break in front of me. Boom! The earth breaks in front of me, and then there's like the earth goes up, la tierra, and it
Mhm.
like a barren, like it makes a mountain, but it's actually like a train of a mountain. And I sit on top, and as I'm sitting on top of it, there's this you know how when you're waiting for the bus stop, there's like these things on top that are metal metallic. I look
Mhm.
up, it's kind of like blue black, and then I look to my left here in my front, there's this female, beautiful female. Now I know it's you. Talon and dominant. She has short, tight knit black hair, real beautiful, so beautiful. Here there's like these, you know how the Mexican bracelets we have here, or the bracelets from Africa that are really thick and gold, and you had like these gold and beautiful. That is a, to me that meant you were a pharaoh or something. You were some kind of queen or some kind of just a badass. Okay, we'll just call it
Well,
that. Rein,
I can I
right?
can interject what you just saw. My soul bloodline, I don't know how to say that, is Egyptian, and I am the daughter of Pharaoh Hatshepsut. Hatshepsut.
Oh, beautiful,
Yeah, I'm her daughter, Nefertiti,
beautiful.
yeah, and her only child, and I became a high priestess.
That was what I was trying to say too. High
Right. You can actually look that up, and you'll find, she was Hatshepsut was the first female pharaoh.
I will put it in the our little descriptions,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, that way people
So when
can
you
look.
mention that about around the neck, and also you have them around your arms.
Yes,
Right.
and your wrist. So
Yeah.
saw you like that. Okay, beautiful gold. Just you came to me, and then I saw as you were coming, all beautiful. There was like a kind of like a dress, and it was yellow, red, blue, orange stripes, vertical,
Hmm.
black also, and you sat with me on the rail, but remember the rail is of earth, right? And we were
Right.
going down. All your tribe came to help me. They were also other people around me, and your we'll say, how do you say when a queen has their echelons, or what? Yeah, military. Okay, so
Their
their
court, or
court, the
yeah,
warriors. All the
yeah.
warriors were along with other people, but you
Hmm.
stayed with me. And
Hmm.
when I came to understand that that was you the other day, I called you. I'm like, I can't keep this in anymore. Because all of our astrals have a meaning, have a person in your life here that you will find sooner or later, never
Hmm.
later, right? I'm just saying later in our life sometimes. We
Right.
become
Yeah.
more wise, you know.
Hmm.
When we, like I always say, unmask your soul, and find out who you are, find out what your missions are. And then there's another astral that happened before that. Um, we were like in stagecoaches, maybe 1910, 1820, something like that.
Hmm.
Maybe even 1800s, maybe 1888, who knows? But I was like in another country, and it was a kind of like a museum inside. Kind of like a show, like you know how we have gem shows here, but it's they had stage coaches, they were selling things, bartering, things like that. And I saw a family come up to me. It was a melanated dominant lady, beautiful long hair, and her daughter and her son. Her husband, had a stagecoach, and the horses were there. And then he said, "Come up." He got me my hand, and I came up. And then the lady put her hands on my top here, my chest, and the little girl too.
Hmm.
And telepathically, she said, "You no longer have breast cancer." And I'm like, I woke up thinking, oh, maybe it's for my little sister. And years later, just the other day again, that's you as well. So
Mhm.
there's a reason why I call you my oracle. You have helped me a lot
Mhm.
to become the wiser person that I am now.
Aw.
Not give away the loosh, to not play the CIA love bite anymore. I am so grateful that I don't have those emotions anymore, because I told myself I'm shutting it down. There's anytime I try and start a new relationship, boom, it goes down. And like a fire, an airplane, me bajaste el avión, like in Spanish, me bajaste el avión, way. What? Like crash and burn. I'm like, baby, I didn't crash and burn. I'm I'm still here. It's just
Uh-huh.
that I am not going to pilot that airplane where that person is, or people that entertain. I'm not going. I do not entertain the thought anymore of, oh, maybe this is my Prince Charming. No, girl. I am my own knight. I am my own male, feminine, and masculine knight, king, queen, whatever you want to call it. Um, and I no longer need it. And you helped me a lot, because one day you said, Veronica, why are you taking so many selfies? And I'm like, right? Why am I? I know it's for the business or whatever, but it's like I was giving away my energy, and I should have known not to, because we when I clear people, I do certain things when they come
Mhm.
in. I tell them, take a picture before we start, before I remove this hex and whatever
Mhm.
and then after I do the whole situation, I don't want to call it ritual because it's
Mhm.
you know not demonic, or you know what I mean. Um,
It's an understanding of what people think a ritual is. It's
right.
all about intent.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. And so when I'm done clearing them, I have them take another picture, and they're different. Totally, the demons are gone. The parasites, they have a glow in their face, a kick in their step. They're happy. They've cried already. They've cleared all that. It's kind of like Scream, you know. Hey, if you don't got money for a session, just go scream in front of the mirror. Right?
You know what I have found out, the way that I see things is that this path that we're on, it's important for us to take care of ourselves and to keep ourselves cleared. And by doing that, we're able to, with our intuitiveness and our abilities, we can see things that we normally wouldn't be able to see. But if we allow like our energy to be taken, if we're giving it away, and we're empathic, and we keep allowing ourselves to be drained, we have to take care of ourselves in order to take care of others, or the ones that really need it. So, that's how it's like, so you bring me drama, I don't take it. That's probably the easiest way to explain it. I just let it kind of bounce off of me. And it's something that is taught in law enforcement in the academy, that before you curse somebody out, because people get emotional when things happen to them. But before you say, B, you need to sit down, or we need, what you're going to do, we say, woosah, and we throw it off of us, and then we go,
I would
okay,
say
this
that
is,
too.
yeah, then we stop it, we say, this is what we're going to do. Because when someone comes at you with all that emotion and energy, especially if it's negative, it's very easy to draw you into that. And so, that's what we were taught in the academy. It's real interesting that it works, on different level and different places. But we don't walk around saying woosah. We say, and then say, this is what we're going to do.
I
Because
would
it
go
gives you a
like this,
time, yeah,
like in my
it gives
patrol
you
car.
time to break that energy, to break, put a break in it, get a breath and realize what's going on. And then you're like, this is what we're going to do. This is how we're going to get out of this.
Oh yeah.
And so that's what I see when it comes to the energy and things like that. Because, if you're this beacon and you're shining and all that, the darkness, you'll find them around you all the time. And, you'll be going to the grocery store and people just attract to you, and they just start holding conversations. And you can usually tell if it's a good one or a bad one. And so if it's a good one, I'll continue on. If it's something that's draining, I said, okay, I gotta go get in line. Nice talking to you.
Mhm.
You know? So it's been a learning and as well as enlightening experience.
Oh, yeah.